You know, it's not very often I get to talk with my colleague and friend, the sage of South Central, because we're in entirely different time zones, but he's made a rare exception for us today because tonight we're doing a special 100 Days of Trump together during his show, 8 o'clock Eastern on the Salem News Channel. It's the one and only Larry Elder. Mr. Elder, good to see you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning.
My pleasure, of course. Not to forget, by the way, I want to mention right off the top, you also have a fantastic new film at salemnow.com. If you want to watch it, it's called Electric Vehicles, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which I want to get into in just a minute, Larry. Salemnow.com to get that film. May I ask you first, before we get into anything else, and we'll talk more about this tonight, your impression of the first 100 days of Donald Trump's administration?
Off the chart. Honestly, off the chart. I think his biggest achievement, of course, is securing the border. It took him 30 days, and we were told for 4 years that the borders could not be secured unless there was new comprehensive immigration legislation. And as President Trump said in his joint address to Congress, you didn't need new legislation. All you needed was a new president. I think people still underestimate the damage that Joe Biden did just regarding the border for 4 years. An estimated minimum of 15 million illegal aliens entered the country, unvetted, unvaccinated, several on the terror watch list. Hundreds of them had committed crimes, including homicide in their own countries, and have come on to commit those kinds of crimes here in this country. It was an outright invasion, all done to intentionally change the electorate in this country to make it more left-wing. It was outrageous, and I'm amazed that more people aren't angry about that.
We're going to talk with...
And then you're talking about the economy. While there is some dispute about whether or not eggs have gone down, the price of eggs certainly have not gone up the way they did during the previous 4 years. The gasoline prices appear to be stabilizing. The president has unleashed drill, baby, drill, all of which will, down the road, inure to our benefit. The big question mark, of course, are the tariffs. We knew tariffs were coming. The man's been talking about them for decades. I think the breadth and scope of the tariffs surprised a lot of people, and I still think that Donald Trump will get a lot of deals done, and he can also recalibrate. If he feels he's gone too far, he could back down. So I think ultimately, if we get our allies and our enemies to lower their tariffs, it will help the economy. And if that happens, if it happens before the midterms, well enough before the midterms, so it'll kick in the electorate in the voters' minds, then the number of seats in our House Republican side could even expand. We'll hold control of the Senate, and then it's Katie bar the door.
Larry, you and I are going to talk tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern on during your show for our special 100 Days of Trump. Let me ask you about, I know Speaker Johnson will be a part of that presentation as well. What are your feelings about Congress, Larry? Are they moving swiftly enough for your taste? We know they don't move fast anyway, but how do you think Republicans are doing?
They're moving way too slowly for my taste. The tax cuts have to be extended. The Trump tax cuts have to be extended, ideally even reduced. And it's just taking extraordinarily long. I'm very frustrated by that. I think Mike Johnson is frustrated by it. I think John Thune is frustrated by it. I know President Trump is frustrated by it, but it will get done. It's got to get done as part of the overall economic agenda. Tariffs are taxes. There's no question about that, but they will be offset by the extension of the Trump tax cuts and hopefully a reduction of taxes. So it's got to get done. I think the Republicans know it has to get done, so it will get done, but maybe not on your timeline. Maybe not on my timeline.
Right. Larry Elder tonight joins me. We'll be together during his show for an 8 o'clock Eastern presentation of Trump's first 100 days. Laura Trump will join us. Speaker Mike Johnson will join us. So we're really looking forward to that conversation. I will also be heading to Capitol Hill, Larry, and asking some questions that you will hear some of their answers to during that special. Anything on your mind? Anything you'd like me to communicate to members of Congress that I could ask on our behalves? I've got a few myself.
Well, if you're going to be talking to some of the Trump people, ask President Trump, how is it he puts out a tweet or a Truth Social post about Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, and then within 1 or 2 rounds, the quarterback finally gets drafted by the Cleveland Browns. I'd love to know how that happened.
You know, may I ask you, that's a great question. I hadn't even considered this, but let me ask you that. Stephen A. Smith says that he thinks that kid not being drafted earlier is Colin Kaepernick level collusion amongst the owners of the NFL. Your reaction to that?
Ridiculous. I even heard Jamal Bowman, the former congressman from New York, accuse the NFL of racism. The top 3 picks were all black. Hello, is this thing on? I mean, I don't know what's going on. My suspicion is, I always thought he was an interesting player, kind of a Johnny Mandel type of player, improvising a lot and running around a lot. That style often does not translate very well to the pros. I heard he gave a very bad interview, as in he was arrogant, not too surprising given how arrogant his father is. So maybe all that played into it. I have no idea. All I know is that these owners want to win. They want to draft the best player to put them in a position of winning. And you're asking me whether or not owners are intentionally ignoring somebody who they think could put booties in the seat and put columns on the win side. I just don't believe they're that stupid. So there's got to be something else that you and I are not aware of, but whatever it is, it's no collusion.
It is a religious doctrine in your state of California, electric vehicles. That is where so much of the left still wants us to go, although ironically at the same time, frittering away our plentiful resources to produce plentiful, cheap energy. I've always found that amazing. But your brand new film, Electric Vehicles, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Larry Elder, it's at salemnow.com. Tell us about it.
Well, Chris, it took me about a year to do it, and I must tell you, I entered the project not having any real idea about EVs. I sort of thought from a gut standpoint that EVs were probably on par better for the planet than gas-powered cars. However you feel about the issue of climate change, whether you feel it's an existential threat like Joe Biden does, or you feel like a physicist named Freeman Dyson who thinks it's much ado about nothing and considers Al Gore and An Inconvenient Truth to be a piece of propaganda. However you feel on that, the question is, are EVs better for the planet than gas-powered cars? And so I looked at everything. The energy it takes to make an EV, the energy it takes to transport an EV to the dealership, the minerals that go into the batteries, who controls those minerals? Turns out China controls them, mines them, manufactures them, or they control the parts of the world like the Republic of the Congo where these things are done. I looked at the size of the battery. I looked at the cost of an EV with or without tax subsidies. And you look at every single thing that goes into it, and I concluded that it is probably not true that the carbon footprint of an EV is smaller than the carbon footprint of the gas-powered cars. And from a national security standpoint, given that China controls the chips that go into the car, controls the rare earth minerals that go into the battery, we're making China richer. We're making us more dependent upon China. And then there's a humanitarian part of it, Chris, that most people know nothing about. I knew nothing about it, and that is that cobalt, one of the minerals that go into the batteries, is mined often by hand in mines in Republic of the Congo by children, girls with their bare hands. And the stuff is toxic, and they make about $1 or $2 a day. So talk about slave labor and exploitation. I think most people who own an EV have no idea about that. So we looked at all of this. We talked to physicists, we talked to environmentalists, we talked to climate change people, we talked to consumers, and just kind of looked at everything. And so the idea is that you watch the documentary, look at the good, look at the bad, look at the ugly, and you determine whether or not you think EVs are good for the planet and whether or not you want to buy one for yourself.
Larry, do you see a day that we're all driving electric, that gas goes away based on your research, or no?
I do not. I'm here in California, as you pointed out. The governor of California issued an edict that by the year 2035, no more sale of new gas-powered cars. 2 days later, he told the 2.9% of vehicle owners who own EVs not to charge them during peak hours because it taxes California's energy grid. So can you imagine if a substantial number of Californians own EVs when already 2.9% are taxing our grid? It's ridiculous. And again, it takes fossil fuel energy to manufacture the car, to transport the car. Most of the electricity is generated by fossil fuels. So you're not really eliminating fossil fuels. All you're doing is moving the carbon footprint somewhere else where you don't see it.
Yeah, if you put everybody in an electric vehicle across the country today that's driving a gas-powered car, the electric grid would need to accommodate it, and we're nowhere close, Larry.
And also from a supply-demand standpoint, most people grew up on gas-powered cars. I know I did. I had never driven an EV until the documentary. By the way, a marvelous piece of technology. As one of my experts put it, it's a computer on 4 wheels and a steering wheel. and the self-driving component is amazing. And I think generally when it's adopted, we'll have fewer accidents per million miles driven than if humans were driving it. So the technology is amazing. The question is, do people want them? And right now, from what I can understand, Detroit is losing money for every EV that comes off the assembly line because people just don't want them. One wonders how big the market would be, but for the tax subsidies and the tax credits that buyers and owners are getting.
Is it because mostly people still don't trust them? I mean, I'll be honest with you. My sense of it is I believe in the power and I trust in the efficiency of a gasoline-powered car, or in my case, I drive a truck. I don't trust electric cars yet. Is that the sense of it with most people?
I think that's the biggest part. The other part is, for a comparably sized car, EVs are more expensive. The battery is heavier, by the way, which causes more wear and tear in the road, and it costs more money to fix the car. So you look at everything all together, and the fact that people have been raised on gas-powered cars, like you and me, we prefer them because we like things we're familiar with, but also the cost. Yeah. It really is a very expensive piece of machinery.
Gavin Newsom, quickly here, Larry, I just got to ask you with about 30 seconds or so. The governor seems to want to.
Do we have to, Chris? Everything was going so well.
I'm surprised he hasn't invited you on his podcast. He wants to use prominent conservatives to sort of moderate a little bit. That's my sense of it. How do you read this play to the center?
For the same reason, Chris, he refused to debate me during the 2021 recall election. Mm-hmm. This guy is the biggest, slickest liar I've ever seen in my life. How about when he told Charlie Kirk that it was unfair for biological men to compete against biological women? Well, there's legislation that didn't get out of the committee here in California that would have prevented that very same thing from happening. And Gavin Newsom was asked did he support it, and he danced around and gave you a word salad worthy of Kamala Harris. This guy is just unbelievable. He'll lie, look you straight in the eye and lie with the ease of Willie Sutton. I mean, it's stunning.
Tonight, 8 o'clock during Larry's show on the East, 8 o'clock Eastern, and carry that out west, however you land in your time zone. Larry and I will be doing a special 100 Days of Trump presentation with Speaker Mike Johnson, Laura Trump, and many other guests. And most of all, check out this film when you get time. Electric Vehicles, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, available at salemnow.com. Larry Elder, it is a pleasure to spend time with you. We'll see you again tonight, my friend.
Chris, thank you so much for having me. By the way, Karine Jean-Pierre was asked, did Joe Biden own an EV? Because he wants everybody to buy an EV, and she danced around it. So I don't even think Joe Biden owns an EV, but he wants you to buy one, Chris.
We'll see you tonight, my friend.
You got it. Take care.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.